they'll come over to see this villager and say, hey, I see you. Let me throw food at you. And welcome back to Going Hard here on Music Free Gaming, where I am playing in Minecraft Hardcore, and if I die, the world ends. And right now, I have a problem that these guys behind me are going to solve. So the problem I have is actually food related. See, I've been doing great living off of steak, and I've got some baby cows growing who will soon be tasty and delicious steak. But the problem is I have to get over here and remember to farm them, and it's 20 minutes before I get edible cow, and that sucks. So I think what I want to do is I want to actually get these guys trained up for golden carrots, which would be awesome. But I think I also want to use these guys as an emerald source. Unfortunately, these fields are not nearly big enough to get all the carrots and potatoes and wheat that I'm going to need and want for like mud and stuff. So I'm going to set up a villager powered veggie farm, because that's what farmers are for, is getting veggies. So let's make that happen. Now what I want to do is I want to move those villagers that are in there out here and basically make them part of the villager trading hall. Now I thought about putting them over there, but I actually have some other plans for villagers over there. So I'm going to put them here. Now it does sort of tighten this up a little bit, but I think this is going to work. I can make a nice little hallway that sort of gives a nice separation. So the villagers will go there, and then I'm going to put the farm output over here. So this is all going to be, well, a wallow chests, but a wallow chest filled with carrots and potatoes and stuff. So with that in mind, I think I'm going to try to lay out where all the chests are and make sure I have room for, you know, a good sorting system, because unsorted veggies is just salad, and nobody wants salad. I mean, except people who actually like to be healthy and stuff. But really, that number can't be high at all. No. Okie dokie. This is where the storage is going to go. And I've got it marked out where the sorting system's going to be. Right here above these villagers. So that's going to be great. But coming up here on top of my bamboo ceiling, right? This is the inside of my hill. Right, there's the bamboo farm, all that stuff. This area here, I've got lots of space, and this is where I'm going to start setting up my new farms. Now, how that happens, it's going to be a really interesting question, but I think the first thing I'm going to have to do is go all diggy on this. The plan here is to build out farmland in basically 4 diamonds. Each one is going to be a farm with water in the center, and then, you know, the farmers running out there doing their thing. Well, the cool thing about farms or farmers is they want to feed other villagers, because breeding is a thing that villagers really like to do. They're kind of like college students that way. And the plan is they'll come over to see this villager and say, hey, I see you. Let me throw food at you. Because that's also something college students will do. And instead of making it to this villager, it'll all get sucked down off this block and right down eventually out into the sorting system. So as I build this out, right, coming out off the side of this, right, this will come out this way. I'll put some water in the middle. And then the only trick is to sort of isolate all of these guys in the middle from each other, or the farmers here from each other. So yeah, it'll make sense, I think. So what I have up here now is a cat and 3/4 of my farmland for the carrots and potato production. Now, obviously, it's not plowed. I'll deal with that in a little bit. But what I need to do is I need to get a couple of villagers up here so I can make sure that this concept actually works the way I think it's going to work. And then once that's done and I know that it's working, then I can build out the other sections. So here's the first test, right? I've got this villager up here. This is the bait. This is where the farmers are going to throw food. I just brought another villager up, take him out of that minecart. And what I need to do now is harvest a bunch of this, or plow a bunch of this farmland and start planting a bunch of veggies. And hopefully, as his inventory fills up, he'll start throwing the veggies at this guy here, preferably without getting him knocked up and creating new villagers. Right? I'd like to avoid that today. This is a food-only farm, not a villager breeder. Think you two can get on with that? I hope. All right. A little progress has been made, I think. Turns out, the way I had the villagers set up here in the center before, just didn't work. They just ended up chucking the veggies to the guy in the middle and trying to breed and just getting all cranky. So, instead, what I did is I've set these hopper minecarts around, set so the rails go pointing between the glass. That way they won't get bumped out of the way. And that should pick everything up that these 3 farmers will now throw. I've got that field planted in carrots. That's the thing. I was going to say corn. That's just silly. Obviously, this was the one I already planted. This one is in potatoes. And I've got these guys all traded up so they'll keep their jobs, and their composters blocked off so they won't actually try to compost things that they're not supposed to. So hopefully at this point, we should be good to go with the farmers, at least 3 of them. I still need to do that space, but I think I want to do something a little bit different over there. Now, before I really go work in on that other side, I have been watching these guys for a little bit, and I have verified that they are, in fact, dropping, in this case, carrots on that villager up there, and it's getting sucked down into this dropper, which is awesome, because then that means I can start feeding that down the line into the sorting system. That is wonderful. So we actually have a working farm, except for the, I don't have the collection completely set up yet because I don't have the dropper going or the water stream. Okay, I now have all of my villagers in place, and they're happily farming and dumping all of their stuff to this dude in the middle. Now, I did have to put up a bunch of trapdoors because they were sort of picking up crops from each other if they ended up in the corners, and that's not ideal. So, in any case, they're there, they're set, everything is wonderful, and that farmer is poking out the side of the hill, but he's safe for the moment. That, I think, is going to be the other fun part of this project. But before I can get to that, I want to add melons and pumpkins to this whole mess. So let's get started on that. So I think the plan here is I'm going to put watermelons on this side, or at least, yeah, partially, I guess. I'll put watermelons on this side, and I'm going to put pumpkins matching on the other side. But I think what I want to do is run some basically right down the middle here as well. Now, how this is all going to work with a hopper minecart, I don't know. I really need to figure out that track layout. But I think this is actually going to work out pretty okay once I get all of the gravel out of the way. Because, yeah, that's annoying. So let's start getting some of the stuff laid out here, and then we'll figure out the rest of it. All right, I have all of the pistons, all of the observers in place. So the farms are there. Now I just need to hook up the minecart system to go collect all of this nonsense. So, okay, so this should be fun. I probably, if I'd been smart about this, I probably would have put the rails in first, you know? But where's the fun in that, right? It's more fun to do this in the most complicated way possible and then maybe do it correctly. This is what it's like for me. Just in real life, too. All right, we'll go. So this is the pattern the rails are going to go. Now, they're all in the wrong place. I have to actually build them up one block higher. But it was nice to sort of plan all of this out so that I know that, hey, this is where it's going to go. So I can, when I build it, I don't have to worry about it too much. So now I can just get everything in place and get a minecart going. All right, so I now have a minecart running back and forth here. Right up until it hits me or something. I've got it going over these 9 hoppers. Now that's... might be enough, might not, to empty out this minecart when it picks up the pumpkins and melons, whatever else it gets. But if I come in here and I put a little water down, rails are waterloggable, like that. What happens is when the minecart goes across, it slows down. And so instead of dropping off 1 at a time, it drops off 2 at a time. So that's awesome. I get double offload capacity. Now, if I need to, I could run a few more hoppers under here as well. But I think this is going to be fine. I'll have to keep an eye on it once the melons start growing. But for now, I'm going to go grab some more water and finish filling this in. So everything is now set with the track. I did add a little extra water just to slow the hopper minecart down just a little bit more, to give it a little more time to drop off stuff as it goes across the middle. But all of this is now in place. It's just, I'm just waiting for this side. It's pumpkins and the melons on the other side to finish growing and to generate, well, melon slices and pumpkins. So that is great. It'll take a little while, but I can wait. I've got stuff to do, and this is fully automated. So my next project is going to be a wheat farm, which is great. Now I wanted to center it back here behind the melons and the pumpkins and stuff. But right here, right down this hole, that's the drop for my villager breeder. And I don't want to screw that up. So instead, I'm just getting some stuff going this way. Now, what I decided to do is I'm just going to rig this the same way as I did the other, is I'm just going to run hoppers here in a couple of places. I've got 3. I'm going to go ahead and just add a couple more here too. There. And that way, I'll just drop off plenty of stuff as it goes by. And I hope that'll be enough drop-off capacity for, you know, the wheat farm as they get going. The next step is to get the farmers and villagers, you know, those guys, up into what will be the wheat farm. And since I'm going to be moving villagers, I think I'm going to take a moment and move the villagers out of my cave and into their new forever home in the villager trading hall. So let's do that. Well, the villagers are all in place, and I took some time also to get these guys fully trained up, so I now have golden carrots as food, which is great. I also took a little bit of time to decorate the drop-off. Now, I think I need to throw in some signs or item frames or something to just to identify, hey, here's where all the potatoes and the carrots and the wheat, which, yep, is coming in there now. Pumpkins and melons, all that stuff is coming in. Also, I added some lights up here and over here. I'm not entirely sure I like just having the frog lights. I may want to come in with some trapdoor action, probably some pink trapdoors, and cover those up. But from a basic perspective, I like it. Now this gets a little more narrow than I was originally wanting, I suppose. But the reality is, it's okay, and it's actually a good spot. I could put in a double door right here, and everything would be awesome. I also have some storage for golden carrots, just so it's right handy. So all in all, this place is looking good. The next step, though, is to deal with the exterior part of the farm, which is upstairs. Now that the mechanics are done with this farm, I want to deal with this outside bit that's kind of sticking out here, because you know what? I think it needs a house of some sort on top of it. And honestly, just having it be a hole in the ground is a little silly. So let's get to decorating. Yeah, no, this is going to be wonderful. This is going to make all of the sense in the world, right? Some sense will be made, and elsewhere, I'm sure. I'm sure there's some place in the world where sense is being made. But this is going to be our little place of sensical goodness. And if you need a place for sensible goodness, I suggest maybe seeing if you could build one yourself. Either do it in Minecraft or give yourself a nice little room in your house where you can have sensible goodness, and maybe you could even throw in something like this that will drive people nuts. Like, wait a minute, that one's not turned right. What's wrong with you? No, this is sensible. We're going to be sensible here. Yes, I'm sensible. Well, through the magic of editing, I now have a building. It's not a bad building. I think I want to add some supports for this balcony here. And I need to figure out what's going on with the windows and some other detail and stuff. But all in all, this is not a bad shape for the farm. I'm a little concerned. I took out some composters, and now my villagers are not harvesting anything, which kind of worries me. So I may have to get back in there and fix that. But I'll keep an eye on it while we finish working on this house. But I think this is going to be a really nice addition to this area. So I've been thinking about this as I've been building this house, and thinking maybe what I need to do is connect to that guy up there and actually give it some sort of supports for this whole thing sticking out, right? Because it does look a little bit silly just sort of floating there. And so what I decided to do was build something along this design. Okay, the logs, the deep slate tile walls, and all this good stuff, right? So that's going to be cool. The catch is I need to then build it up from here. So what I need to do is figure out where everything matches, start lining it up, and build that up from the house. And, ooh, this is going to be cool. So let's get to it. Through the power of editing, I think this tower is done. Yeah, it still wraps the zombie nicely. Looks a lot better than it did before, and that the zombies still can see out and scare the villagers, so the iron farm is still working. And I added this nice little pillar to it, so that's awesome. Then the other fun is I'm starting to do a little bit of the detail work around the outside here. You know, it's not fabulous, let's be honest, but I think it's I think it's starting to look pretty okay. So, and I blocked my window here, so that'll have to shift over. But all in all, this is really starting to turn out. I'm thrilled. So I'm out in free cam here, taking a little look at the outside of the house, and I think this is pretty nice. Is it perfect? No. Could someone else have done it better? Probably. But I like the shape of this house. You know, there are some more details that could come in, but all in all, I think this is doing okay, and it does a pretty good job of blending in, well, the all of the farmers down here doing their farmery things. But yeah, this is looking okay. And on the inside, I haven't done any real interior details yet. I've got a little fireplace sticking out down here. This leads back into the farm itself, so I can get in and out of there as I need to. And obviously I still have some torch spam going around. And then upstairs, got this nice little area, threw in a fireplace. And we've got a nice area, probably for, let's say, a little reading nook. There's a lot of good stuff here. It's all on slabs, so I might, I could even come up this way and slab it up so it's full blocks. That's a problem for future me. But for now, I think this is good. That might be something I work on just off camera, just for fun. But I think this is good. This just a nice little place to well, enjoy my permanent farmers. Yeah, looking inside there looks really ugly and stupid. I agree, and that's okay. And that is going to do it for the video today. This has been awesome. I now have golden carrots to eat. I've got all of the farming automated, so now I can easily get some more emeralds, which has been a challenge. Oh, and the villager trading hall is getting a little bit bigger. And I'm moving out of my cave by making more of a cave. But hey, this is awesome. Progress is happening and I love it. Remember to like the video, subscribe, all of that good stuff. And I'll see you in the next video. Until then, be excellent to each other. And this is Music Free Gaming signing off.